December meeting of the Edgecombe County Commissioners to order. Mr. Evans, would you please read the safety instructions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have Ms. Best to read our safety instructions for the night.
To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts you to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner and run to 2 exterior doors, one to your right and the other behind you. Once you exit the building, please safely cross Randall Street to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will assist and provide additional directions. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room and gather in the hallway where we will remain until it's safe to exit. In the event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, please find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
God, we give thanks for today. We thank you for entering the last month of the year. We pray that our minds will be settled on doing what is right for our citizens to make our county a better place in which to live. Through Christ our Lord, we pray. Amen.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, every December we have election of board officers. Mr. Peters would like to turn the over to you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any nominations for chairman for this year of 2022? Yes, sir.
So now, Mr. Wiggins, Chairman.
Mr. Wiggins is been nominated as chairman. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of Mr. Wiggins being chairman of 2022 Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to thank the board for continued support and they serve as the board chair. At this time, the nomination goes for vice chair and nomination for vice chair. The chair nominates Reverend Hines. Any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor of Reverend Hines, let it be known by the vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Reverend Hines is the vice chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the board. My best to serve as assistant to the chairman.
Schedule appointments, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, you have the minutes to be approved for tonight.
Instruments. Yes, sir. You've got the minutes in your packet in addition to direction. If none, is there a motion to approve?
No.
Questions? All in favor, let me know by the voting sign aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. That's mailed out. Now, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So first is a scheduled appointment tonight. Representative from the town of Princeville, Mr. Mayor Jones, is here tonight to make a presentation to the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, board members, I promise you I will not be before you as long as we were in your buildings since the flood. I come before you to thank you from the 2,200 citizens of the town of Princeville for all your support over the last 5 years, in addition to at least as long as I've been the mayor, for the last 8 years. It has been a true honor and a privilege to work with each and every one of you, especially our county manager, Mr. Evans, and our representative, Ms. Harris. Continue to work in this manner. We're going to do great things, not only for Princeville, not only for Edgecombe County, but for Eastern North Carolina. And again, thank you so much for your support. And I'm afraid to let you know that we have a gift for you because Ms. Sharon Emerson is here. She might want to know where that money's coming from.
No, we won't tell you what you leave.
Okay, I'm just putting on your desk. Please don't open it. They even gave one for the attorney. You're welcome. Now, if you don't like it, send it back to me. And I'll use it for some Christmas presents. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We miss anyone? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. They even have friends named that. You know I can't forget her. Did I get everybody? And I have one left over, so I'm gonna give it to Sharon. I wonder why. One last thing. There's some really beautiful pictures in here, especially on the page that I'm listed. Sure you can. Again, thank you so very much, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Continue the good work.
Thank you.
That you all doing there. I think you're doing a good job. Thank you so much.
And also, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to show to the board at their ribbon cutting for their newly renovated town hall that I attended, they presented a plaque to the board from their board, and it says, Edgecombe County is token of appreciation for providing shelter after the storm and kindness shown during our time of need, October 2020. So we'll be sure to display this in our building. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, I see that our school board superintendent here, Dr. Privet, has with him Dr. Bridges, superintendent of the year. Please stand, Dr. Bridges. Please stand. Give her a hand. Also in our board package, I'm going to read this and ask the board for approval. Resolution to honor Edgecombe County Public School Superintendent Dr. Valerie Bridges, whereas the members of the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners believe that all of our citizens contribute to the greatness of our county, yet there are some whose service and achievements are notable and worthy of our recognition. And whereas one such citizen is deserving of our honor for their exemplary leadership and commitment to the education of our children. Whereas Dr. Valerie Bridges has served as superintendent of Edgecombe County Public Schools since 2017, which time she has led the improvement of our system's performance from only 6 schools meeting or exceeding growth to now 12 of the 14 schools meeting or exceeding growth. And whereas the North Carolina Association of School Administrators, the North Carolina School Superintendents Association, and the North Carolina School Board Association jointly acknowledge the excellence in education thus selected Dr. Bridges as the 2022 North Carolina Superintendent of the Year. And therefore, be it officially and publicly noted that the Edgecombe County Commissioners hereby give honor to the service and achievement of Dr. Valerie Bridges. It's the 6th day of December 2021. Can I get a motion for approval? Second. All in favor, let me know by the vote, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it's so approved. Dr. Bridges, we'd just like to thank you for bringing this on to our county and for the excellent work that you are doing as the superintendent of our school system. Brother Privilege, would you all, Dr. Bridges having comments?
Thank you so much. I am named State Superintendent of the Year, of course, for the great state of North Carolina. But as I was on the stage, I keenly represent Edgecombe County. So I love North Carolina, but Edgecombe County, the pride that I felt being up there, knowing that they are recognizing the work that we've done over the last 5 years as superintendent, I was extremely proud. I am humbled, and I thank you all for supporting me. I, of course, thank my board, thank our families in Edgecombe, I thank our community, and just want you all to know, you heard some of the data. We are not finished. We still have more work that we want to do. We've made some strides, but we're nowhere finished. We pride ourselves on being that small school district that keeps surprising people, and that's our intention. Keep surprising people and keep doing what's right and best for children. So again, thank you tonight.
Is there anybody with? No.
Mr. Chair, members of the County Commissioners Board, and ladies and gentlemen, when Dr. Bridges was nominated some time back at the beginning of the process, I shared with her that we were recommending the nomination. And she says, oh, and I said, listen, hold it right there. I've worked under 12 superintendents, and it's hard for me to believe that anybody in North Carolina who serves in the seat of superintendency to be any better and a hard worker, working any more compassionate, any loving than Dr. Bridges. Thank you all for recognizing that. And she's not finished yet, and we aren't either. Bless you.
We will get you your signed copy of that, okay? We will get you your signed copy.
Absolutely, thank you.
What's that?
Next, I'd like to call Michelle Evans, our Director of Health Director, to give you your monthly COVID update.
Good evening. So I'll be quick, as we have this with you. As of November 29th, we were a little over 8,000 COVID cases in Edgecombe County. The group most affected by COVID is white females, ages 25 to 49. That seems to still be the trend. If you look at our daily case averages, we had a slight increase leading up to Thanksgiving and right after Thanksgiving. It'll be interesting to see the next couple weeks as we have just come off the holiday to see what our cases are doing. But it's not, as bad as it has been, but we did see a slight increase due to the holiday. Demographics for those receiving at least one dose, primarily African American females aged 50 to 64. Unfortunately, we are now at 127 deaths in Edgecombe County due to COVID-19. Most deaths occurred in white men 75 years old and up. Looking at vaccinations, 48% of Edgecombe County residents have received their first dose. This is no change since early November. Each month we were creeping up just a little bit, 1% here and there, but we have not seen a change in over a month. 45% are now fully vaccinated. This is an increase from 44% early November. We currently have the Moderna vaccine for individuals 18 years of age and older, as well as Pfizer for individuals 5 years of age and older. We are currently scheduling appointments for all eligible doses. The Pfizer vaccine was officially approved to administer to ages 5 to 11 the beginning of November. We partnered with Edgecombe County Public Schools to collaborate to provide vaccine events to this age group. We've held 3 events back in November at MMA, Martin Millennium, Bullock Elementary School, and Coker Wimberley. We did it from 4 to 7 p.m. to allow parents to come after work. We vaccinated 47 children at those 3 events. We also had invited the prep school, children attending private schools, and children who are homeschooled. We are going back for the second dose this week. So we'll go back to those 3 schools and administer the second dose to those children. We have opened up our schedule to allow if parents want to bring them to our vaccine clinics on Thursdays and Fridays. They can make an appointment with us. Looking at the community, we thought we were going to lose National Guard December 3rd, but thank goodness they are still with us. So they have been extended to work with us through March 2022. So we're very blessed to have them with us. We have 2 medics that have been helping to administer the vaccine, so it's been great for us. Since July 16th, we've participated in 43 community events, providing 704 vaccinations at those events. Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
Now, you're at those particular schools, but does that mean children from any school can come there
Yes, ma'am.
and get it? If
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
using those 3 sites?
Yes, ma'am. When we collaborated, we started planning before, it was coming, supposedly it was coming. So we went ahead and collaborated to look at different areas in the community. School systems sent out a survey to survey parents to try to gauge where would be the best place to have these events. And so that was where we started. We also discussed after the holidays, looking at trying to do some more events as well.
What exactly is the process for the booster?
Okay, so the booster, is it's after your second dose, 6 months after your second dose, you can get a booster shot. The Pfizer is a full dose that you got if you got Pfizer the first two. If you get Moderna, it is half a dose. So you have to wait 6 months after you've got your second dose. You can get, and you can swap them out now. So you got Moderna and want Pfizer, you can do that, and vice versa.
So is this something that the health department is still doing at certain times or any time, or?
Yes, sir. We provide vaccination clinics every Thursday and Friday by appointment. And we're also doing community events. We're working all over the county, school system, churches, civic organizations to provide vaccinations.
Thank you.
Now, if someone received the J&J vaccine, it's recommended 2 months after that first initial dose to get a booster.
Any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to say thank you. I went to the health department, got my booster, without any problems. And you were right, those young men helping you with the National Guard were very friendly, very caring. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for that feedback.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So also tonight we have scheduled to come before us is Ms. Sharon Edmondson with the State Treasurer's Office to discuss fiscal accountability.
So good evening, Chairman Wiggins, members of the board, staff, and all of your attendees. I really appreciate you accommodating me on your agenda tonight, and I will do my best to be brief. But I want you to ask questions. So I have a few words to say, and then I will open the floor for anything anybody wants to ask. Before I get into our issues at hand, though, I want to personally thank Commissioner Viola Harris for her years of service on the Local Government Commission. Commissioner, I will really miss your attendance at the meetings and your firsthand knowledge of county operations. I will greatly miss you and really appreciate all the years of service. So thank you. I am actually here tonight, though, to talk about the status of the county's outstanding financial audits. Edgecombe County is now 2 years behind on its statutorily required audits. Counties and all of our other local governments are required to file audited financial statements each year by October 31st. The last report we have from Edgecombe County is as of June 30, 2019. That one we received on December 4th, 2020, over a year late. In fact, since 2015, the county's report has been late every year. Some years better than others, but it's still been late every year. The 2019, as I said, arrived in December of 2020. 2020, at this point, will arrive no earlier than December of 2021. You know, we're starting to see this pattern emerge, and it's unfortunately getting worse instead of getting better. When county staff appeared before the LGC back in September to explain why the audits continued to be late, commission members were told it would be here soon. I understand the county's hired help, which we definitely approve of, in the form of bookkeeping firm, and to help with audit preparations, including drafting the financial statements. I know how hard it is to break that cycle once you get behind. It's very difficult to catch up because you essentially have to complete at least 2 years audits in 1 year's time, or possibly even more if you're even further behind. I also understand that your bookkeepers and most likely your auditors have probably pulled off of this job to a certain extent to work on their clients that are current with 2021. And I mean, you can't really blame them for that. And when those clients sign those contracts, they expect the auditors to be available to work on the current year work. I hope none of this is a surprise to the board members. I suspect that it is not, but I wanted to make sure we all had a clear understanding of the current situation. Usually the consequences for a late audit are somewhat nebulous, unless the entity wants to borrow money, and Commissioner Harris can tell you what happens then. But in the case of Edgecombe, your consequences may end up being much more serious and much more real. Water District 4 has a USDA grant loan project outstanding that totals $3.7 million, $500,000 of which was to be a revenue bond, and the remaining $3.2 a grant that has already been given to the county. Because the $500,000 was to be a revenue bond, it has to be approved by the commission. Right now, because the audits are 2 years behind, the commission cannot approve that revenue bond. If it's not approved by February 2022, and I got this information from the USDA, the county will lose the funding and will have to pay the $3.7 million back to USDA. Ideally, this should come from the Water Sewer Fund from District 4, but we have been told that this repayment, if it must be made, will have to come out of the general fund. Again, the last audit we have is June 30, 19, so I don't know what the effect of the general fund on the general fund would be of having to make that kind of repayment. I know in 2019, your fund balance available had declined a fair bit from the previous year, but it's possible that that was a timing issue due to hurricane relief funds. I just don't know, because we don't have anything more current than that. There were numerous internal control findings indicating that the finance function of the county was not operating as it should. Again, that information is 2 years old. I don't have anything more current. So I can only speculate that based on the current circumstances of the water sewer fund not being able to repay that $3.7 million, that the county would struggle to have any debt approved at this time, even if audits were current. We would need to have an audit that showed great improvement in the internal control findings and the financial condition of the water sewer fund, possibly the general fund, in order to even consider putting it before the commission for approval. I don't really see a realistic solution to the USDA grant loan issue. February is only 3 months away. We still don't have the 2020 audit. You would have to get that one finished and the 21 audit done in order to avoid repaying these funds to USDA. So I strongly encourage you to start preparing yourself for repayment and determine the short and long-term effects that that's going to have on your county's finances. The county also needs to develop a plan to address whatever the bottlenecks are that are preventing you from getting this work done. Again, I understand once you fall behind how hard it is to catch up, but you have got to do that. You've got to apply whatever resources you can to make those changes and get these audits caught up. The county cannot continue to operate in this vortex of later and later completion of audits. Unfortunately, it shows a lack of accountability to your grantors, your debtors, and most importantly, your citizens. So it's time to do whatever it takes to get it fixed. We are here to help and offer you whatever ideas or suggestions we can to help you get things back on track. I have every belief that y'all can do it. You've been such a great help to us over the years with Princeville and other situations with other municipalities in the county. I know this county can do good things, but you're going to have to figure out where the problems are and address those and get it taken care of. I really don't like seeing the county in the situation it's in right now, where you cannot come to the commission for approval. I'm happy to take questions, comments.
Any questions? Is that? Was there, you got any comments based on that? You got any comments based on what you said?
I do, Ms. Harris.
That's right.
Sharon, I want to know if there were any, could you give us specifically at least 3 things that you would suggest that needed to be changed or fixed on our way to recovery?
Put me on the spot. I think that the
Carry it out.
I'll do my best. Part of the problem, I think, this year has been the changeover. You changed auditors, and you've got your former audit firm now serving as a bookkeeping / financial statement prep firm, which is fine. I think that was a good decision. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the improvement in the turnaround of that work like I thought we would. Now, to be fair, they got started late because the 2019 audit, was late. All right, so and like I said, it's a cycle. Once you get a year behind, it's really hard to catch up. But, so they got started late, but I had hoped that by having one firm doing the bookkeeping and another firm doing the audit, with the bookkeeping firm would just kind of crank the work out. And we expected the 20 audit to be late, but not this late. We hope to see some improvement, and then even more improvement with 21. And that hasn't happened. So that would be one thing, is to work with the bookkeeping firm and to see what other resources they can apply to just get this thing knocked out and start working on 21. And maybe they're already doing that. I haven't talked with Eric, to be honest, in several weeks about the situation, the specifics. But so that's one. The second one, I think, would be the School of Government and the County Commissioners Association have tons of resources to help you analyze your staffing. And I think you need to analyze your staffing and finance and make sure that you've got enough with the right positions in that department to make it functional. Third one. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce Susan McCollum. She's the Director of Fiscal Management, and so she came with me tonight to help me out when I get stuff like this. I mean, that's the main two to me.
The main two, I do believe, yes.
And then find out, and I would too, and maybe this is third, talk to your audit firm and see what ideas they have. I mean, they've been in here, I hope been in here auditing the 2020 work and see what suggestions they have. Now, they can't create your internal control structures for you and your business processes for you, but they can tell you where your weaknesses are and where you probably need to use some more resources.
Another question, comment on the board? Ms. Evans, go ahead.
Yes, sir. And I do have a prepared response that I'll go through, but again, thank you for being here tonight, you and Susan both. I certainly understand the importance and critical nature of the situation. I do thank you both, and I thank your staff for working with us and providing technical assistance, not just recently, but for many years. But to understand the county's position, it's important to know that the background that led us here. The late FY20 and 21 audits are the legacy of previously delayed audits, as been mentioned, resulting from staff turnover and changes in the auditing firms. Our goal has been to successfully shorten the delay in order to position us to deliver a timely audit. The culminating factors of our late audit began in 2015 when the audit firm who had worked for the county for many years stopped doing county audits due to compliance changes and their increased complexity. We found the pool of firms still interested in doing county audits at that time to be shallow, and those who were willing had very full plates. The firm we selected at the time performed our audit for 2 years. Though qualified, their workload did not allow them to be as responsive as we needed. Therefore, we again solicited proposals from firms in 2017 and selected Carriggs and Ingram, who performed our audits for FY18 and 19. Carriggs and Ingram have moved into a consultative role with the county, and we've contracted now with Thomas Price, Scott, and Adams and Company to do our audit, and this is their first year doing our audit. Also in 2016, we lost our long-tenured finance director who pursued another job opportunity. We struggled to find an experienced finance professional for a little over a year until we were able to hire our current finance director, Ms. Catherine Walters. Also, in the last 2 years, we've had turnover in other key positions within finance, including accounts receivable, payroll, and more recently, our assistant finance director. All of this was in the midst of additional pressure being placed on the financial management capacity of the county due to the growing complexity of local government finances. Our current auditor has been working, as a note as well, our current auditor has been working remotely due to COVID. Therefore, the sharing of much of the information for review has been electronic. The scanning of volumes of documents is tedious and time-consuming for our staff. We implemented a number of measures to improve the situation, including, as you know, we added a grant administrator / accountant position in the finance department. He began in December of 2020. The primary function of this position is to track grant projects, assist with our account reconciliation, and to serve as backup for other key functions in the department. Our finance director also has realigned some duties among her staff for more efficiency while also maintaining proper separation of duties. As mentioned, we have contracted with Harvey and Ingram, our previous auditor, to provide consultative services. They're assisting us with preparing our financial statements as well as some other things. They're working with us to address some key issues needed in our financial management and our internal controls. You'll see later in the agenda, I'm recommending adding a position to finance to further improve our capacity. The demands of our finance department are growing. Edgecombe County's increased economic activity has added complex financial transactions and more grant projects to manage. Also, other grants like Hurricane Matthew, flood recovery, the coronavirus relief fund, and now the American Rescue Plan have added millions of dollars to manage along with compliance and reporting that follows. We are committed to making the improvements that are needed in getting the completion of our audits on schedule.
And based on, I'm just hearing what the letter said, we still got the same problem that you just addressed. And we understand, upon receiving your letter, we understand the seriousness of what you just stated. And I've had our budget committee to go over some other things in terms of how we might address that. And we will be discussing those things with our manager, and he will be getting back with you in terms of what we the things that we also get to do now. So we know the seriousness of it. And when here, I'm going to say it has become a mandate. It's a mandate to our staff. The things that we will be discussing become a mandate. And we will get it, we were going to get it fixed. When you passed us a while ago, because talking with Mr. Boswell about some of the similar things, this will be fixed. It will be fixed. And some of the suggestions that we're thinking about this, we intend to fix it in the shortest period as we can. I can't give you the time frame now, because they will have a further discussion on that. But he will just be discussing with you a time frame for that. Again, as I stated out there, sometimes it takes the butt whipping that you just gave us. But we do understand that the fiscal responsibility is ours. It's yours, okay? And you have come to us and done your job, okay? And based on you doing your job, just put a public face on it. And we're going to get it done. That is our commitment to you.
Thank you, I appreciate those comments, and just in response to Manager Evans' comments, I mean, I agree with everything you said. All those things are challenges, but you've got to find a way to overcome them.
But all of those things, we still need to get our budget in on time. Some of those are excuses too, okay? And we can't use those as excuses not to get in, okay? We just thank you for, and just from the public, that the local government commission has worked with this county for years to come, and we don't see you as the end, okay? We see you as a job to do, and we respect what you have said. It's our job to get it done.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I have one more question. Have you, or anyone on your team, physically been here with our finance department for any length of time?
Not recently because of our COVID travel restrictions. Before that, yes.
Yes, we have visited.
More than once.
Any questions or comments from Ms. Evans? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Your message has been received.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
we've listened to our conditions, and we learned what our service bad results. I mean, why aren't we doing better?
Well, I think that's what challenges our next week, rolling out. I think later on, we, my budget committee, we'll be able to give us policy pass in terms of suggestion things that will assist us with getting over some of these issues. We're gonna get there.
Okay. I did have, Mr. Evans. So the folks that are supposed to be helping us, you said they were doing, are they still virtual? I mean, they have physically been to the office to look for stuff they need or?
The auditors, Alan Thompson.
Right.
They have not physically been to the office. Carrings and Ingram, they've been here many times.
Okay. Well, the ones that we hired that are supposed to help us get over the hump and have not, how can we hold their feet to the fire?
But they have been here. The ones that we've hired.
No, I mean, they haven't got the work done.
Oh.
As she just told us.
Right.
So how do we hold their feet to the fire? We don't need to pay people that are not getting the work done.
Well, I think they've been doing work. They certainly have been accomplished a great deal, and I think you'll see some of it as well, in not just the timeliness of the audit, but addressing some of the audit issues itself, the findings from the previous audit. But that's certainly something that we will discuss.
Maybe we need to move the feet out of the way of the fire, put the fire somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? Hearing none, thank you so much. Hearing none, we'll move on to public petitions.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We do have 3 people that have indicated they would like to speak tonight, and also I have one email that was sent in. First, I'll call Mr. Craig Deal.
Who's that?
Mr. Craig Deal, who would like to address the board tonight.
How's everybody doing?
Good evening.
I appreciate the letting me speak tonight. And I'm Craig Deal. I've been in Edgecombe County for 54 years. And I'm here before you to talk about an issue that Edgecombe County has and a couple more. I'm a research superintendent for North Carolina Department of Agriculture. And I lead several farm managers, I lead farm technicians, and what we practice is communication. Communication at all times. If we don't communicate, everything stops. And with my dealings in Edgecombe County, I have come to find out that there's no communication in Edgecombe County, none at all. I had a land transaction take place in the middle of May. My lawyer did his part because I checked, but the county has not done their part. And I know the former coordinator retired, and I know they hired a replacement. But I'm still waiting for that property to appear in my name. And it's been since the middle of May. And, you know, we know the date today. I have called several times, left several messages to wanted somebody to answer the question what was going on. Nobody has returned my calls. Mrs. Lewis, she hasn't returned my calls. And that goes back to communication. Also, the house lot that me and my wife was given, you know, it had to be taken out of the farm. And when it didn't show up as out of the farm, I had my appraiser call me and won't know where it was at. He said, I don't have you located anywhere. He said he tried to talk to Edgecombe County, but he received no communication at all. So the one time I got through to the office, I did talk to Hunter Johnson. And he told me it was on his desk. He was going to take full responsibility and it was going to be done that particular week. And of course, it hadn't been done now, just a few months later. Mr. Evans, my sister came to your office and left a message for you to call her. Then she called, and you still haven't, you know, she still hasn't received anything. Can I ask why it is so hard for people to do their jobs? I just wish someone would call me and tell me the reason that the county tell me what the reason is. And then I understood the county was trying to hire someone. Of course, I didn't know this. Then I went to the county website, and I just, checked to see if the job was on, and it's got the job. It's listed as $31,000 a year for somebody with a 4-year degree. Now, they can go straight to Nash County, and that job starts at $45,000. So I do not think Edgecombe is going to find anybody to be a coordinator. But also, my sister contacted 2 county commissioners here. She received a phone call in 48 hours. Then I received a phone call from one of them. And now that is communication. That is getting, out and communicating. I even tried to complete the survey, the satisfaction survey, and it went on about 2 weeks. I couldn't get through. But when I finally did get on and I expressed what I had been through, still hadn't heard anything. No communication. And it should be an embarrassment to Edgecombe County that I had a surveyor come to me and tell me that he was sorry that I had land in Edgecombe County. He said, nobody there knows how to fix anything. He said, and I hate you got land there. In fact, he's not one of them. And that don't make me feel good because I've been here my whole life. I pay taxes and cannot get the work done that should be done. And I think the problem starts with you, Mr. Evans. And I expect you to fix it. And Ms. Lewis, please communicate and return calls. The citizens of this county need what I have said many times, communication. I hope this is not an example of my tax dollars at work. I demand things get better, not only for me, but for every citizen in Edgecombe County paying taxes. And I would like to thank Mr. Don Boswell and Mr. Ralph Will for being the kind of county commissioners we need, because they return the calls. They are the commissioners we need, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Any comments?
If he called me, I would return the call. I would get a call.
Well, I think all of us as kind of commissioners return calls. I think calls are on you do. Okay, and that's normally how it happens. Okay, call people that you know. We will certainly get some answers. Okay,
Yeah.
we will get some answers in terms of why this is not happening. You have stated we make an effort to certainly find out if it happened, why did it happen, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And could we get your phone number, sir?
Yes, sir.
You get a call now. Anybody that's clear?
Yes, sir. We also have Miss Kathy Williams who signed up to address the record.
Kathy Williams, 2208 Rock Drive, Carrboro. I know y'all are probably sick of seeing me, but I'm here again about an animal shelter. And tonight I brought visuals for you. I'm going to give these to Ms. Bess and let you pass them around. I've written on the back several things, but I want y'all to see some of these beautiful animals that have died because our shelter can't be kept clean because it's so old. The floor can't be sealed, the ceiling doesn't stay. But these are perfectly healthy animals that until they came into our animal shelter were okay. And there's also a picture in here, and I've written on the back that this was from 2021, which you'll see back in the date range. This was from July 21st through July 30th, and there were several days that it was above 85 degrees inside of the shelter, with the air conditioning and with the fans going. That is breaking state law. If the state inspector had walked in, she would have closed the shelter immediately. So, I know that you guys put $50,000 aside. We have raised $48,000. We're trying. We're trying so hard to save these animals for the people in the county. We run out of room constantly. Today we had, I think this morning or yesterday when I went by the shelter to check on a dog, I think we had maybe 4 dogs in the shelter. It was almost full when I left today, and it's only Monday. So again, animals will probably die this week because we have nowhere to put them. And the citizens don't want to hear we don't have anywhere to put them. Because simply put, a lot of them don't care if the animal lives or dies, but we do. And I've also put a picture in here of our Christmas tree that we tried to decorate the shelter, make it look better. We fed them Thanksgiving dinner. We cooked them turkey and rice with gravy and sweet potatoes, green beans, and carrots, because and the cat's got sardines. But they deserve to be treated like my animals at home, in my opinion. The officers try, the one that's at the shelter all the time, I can't even tell you how hard that girl works to try to keep that building clean. This time of year, when the building has to be closed up, when you open the door, the smell will knock you down. It's not because she doesn't clean it, but because so many smells have seeped into the concrete that's unsealed. The walls are not sealed. There's just no, they've been telling the state inspector every year, we're getting a new one, we're getting a new one. Well, the inspector's gonna get tired of that. And I can't say I blame her if she did. So I'm gonna share these with y'all. Mr. Evans, if you want to keep them until next week, I can get them from you then.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
We had Mr. Darius Swinton to call to sign up. I don't know if he's here. Darius Swinton. Okay. Also received this email from Ellen Andrews. She sent this to our public comments email, and Ms. Andrews said, I would like to recommend Gloria Mosley for the position of Solid Waste Management Director for Edgecombe County. Gloria has worked at the landfill for many years. She knows the ins and outs of the position. Gloria already does most of the duties that are listed on the job description. She is passionate about keeping Edgecombe clean. She works hard and deserves the position. Please consider her for the position. She will be a great director. And as you all know, our solid waste director has announced his retirement, which will happen at the end of the year.
So it would be an open position.
Yes, sir. It's already posted.
She applied,
Not yet.
Anything else?
That's all that I have.
Any comments from the commission?
Let's make sure, that gentleman gets an answer within 14 hours.
Yes, sir.
Hearing none, moving on to other business, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir. Ms. Wade, you have in your packet a number of budget amendments. Certainly have to answer any questions that you might have. There is one I do want to direct your attention to, which is number 2. You see the number at the top right corner. And I do want to point this out. You'll see because this shows a fund balance appropriation. This is for the contracts that we had for the audit as well as financial services we talked about a moment ago with Carbricks and Ingram. That contract was not complete, so that's rolling forward those contracts to this current fiscal year. So that was budgeted last fiscal year, and that amount was unspent, so we're rolling that forward. I do have at your place 3 additional budget amendments. Number 16 is a fairly routine budget amendment. This is for solid waste department. This is to move some funds from their salary line to landfill maintenance and repairs for some work that needs to be done at the landfill. Number 17, you'll see this is regarding an additional position that I actually would like to hold that out and we'll discuss. We have another agenda item regarding a position I'd like to discuss that along with. And then number 18 is funds to cover healthcare analytics services for our chronic disease management program, and that's no additional funds. We're moving funds from central services retirement insurance to central services professional services. So except for asking you to hold off on number 17 to a future agenda item, I recommend that you approve all the others that have been presented.
Is there a motion to approve all budget amendments with respect to 17? Is that a good motion? So moved. Question? All in favor, let me know by voting by aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it all approved.
Yes, sir. Item B on your agenda is regarding the health department bad debt write-off. The health department's bad debt write-off policy states that a patient's account will be handled as bad debt when there has been no activity on the account for more than 6 months. This does not mean that there will be no further efforts to collect the debt. In fact, if there's any new activity on the account, for example, the patient presents to the health department for services, then the account is reactivated. This action is an accounting method, whereas the written off debt no longer shows on our books as a receivable. The attached report is for your consideration. Human Services Board voted unanimously to recommend this debt be written off, and you'll see it's in the amount of $4,525.37.
Motion. Question. Second.
Yeah. How is this almost $3,500 in payment plan so much?
It would, my guess is, it's a number of accounts.
Yes, a larger group of people that.
That's one of the larger programs that we provide.
So we're not providing, or it's costing them?
No, that means there have been clients that have come in for that particular service. And, we charge some of our programs, we charge on a sliding fee scale. If they don't have insurance to pay, they still get service. If they are unable to pay, we still bill them, and that accumulates. So this is not for one person.
Right.
So this would be for several clients, and it accumulates over time. So these would be a number of clients we've had no activity on and no payments in 6 months.
Any other questions or comments?
And Reverend Hines, should any of them get any, if they win the lottery or they get a tax refund, we have it set in place where we can get those funds.
That's right. We send it to debt sell-off as well.
All in favor? Let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, approved. Moving on.
Item C, Health Department fee schedule. Our Health Department, they regularly review the fee schedule to add fees as needed and to ensure existing fees cover the costs associated with providing the services. Your consideration is the addition of an in-home COVID-19 vaccine administration fee of $35. The Human Services Board at their last meeting voted to recommend the approval of this fee change retroactive to June 8th to cover previously administered in-home vaccinations.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Question. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Item D. The National Association of Counties will hold its legislative conference on February 12th through the 16th. Commissioner Harris plans to attend to represent the county. Therefore, I recommend that you take action to approve Commissioner Harris as the voting delegate for Edgecombe County for the 2022 NACO Legislative Conference.
Motion to approve. Question. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, this matter is approved. Be the delegate. Next.
Item E, regarding the meeting schedule. Included for your consideration is your regular meeting schedule for 2022. Our County Code of Ordinances specifies that the regular meetings of the board are to be held in the Commissioner's room. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the need for more space to provide social distancing, you previously revised the location of your regular meetings to this auditorium through this meeting. Considering Edgecombe County and many counties in North Carolina still identified as having substantial risk of transmission for the COVID-19 virus, I recommend that for the upcoming year, the meetings remain in here in the Department Auditorium until such time as we deem it safe to return to the Commissioner's room.
Motion. Second. Question. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Item E. In reviewing the capacity needs of our finance department and in consultation with our finance director, I've determined that another position is needed to assist in carrying out the complex nature of our financial operations. The work of this position needs to cross multiple functions within the department. Therefore, I present for your consideration the addition of an accounting specialist finance at salary grade 14. You will note that there is already an accounting specialist at grade 14. However, that position is specific to the health department. Also included for your consideration are changes to the purchasing manager's position. Ms. Walters has added duties to the position to make it more compatible with the needs of the department. The position will remain at grade 14. Also, we've had some discussion with the personnel committee about the staffing needs in our HR department. You know that we have a human resources director, we have a relatively new one, Ms. Veronica Hill. That is a solo position in that department. We do have in health and DSS some HR functions that are carried out, but as far as our HR office, it's only one position department. And so I think in order for us to function better at capacity to serve the internal clients, which are our employees, in a better manner, that I would like to add an administrative assistant 3 position to human resources. Now, this is a position that's already on our pay scale, so it's not a position to be added to our pay scale. But I do have the budget amendment that I mentioned just a moment ago. In order to add the position, we'll need to add or to take action on this budget amendment to cover the salary of the position for the remainder of the fiscal year. Originally, I had thought that there would be enough lapsed salary in my budget to cover that, but it's not. And so you'll see that there's a recommendation for the budget amendment for this, so that I may add this position in human resources as well.
What, do we need 1 or 2 motions?
I would suggest one motion to approve making the change to our pay scale, which includes adding the accounting specialist position as well as the change to our purchasing management position, and then a second motion to approve the budget.
First motion, is there a motion on what was suggested, the first motion?
So good.
Second question. All in favor, let me know by vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. Second that, motion is second is
To approve the budget amendment as presented.
motion. Question. All in favor, let me know by vote sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. It is approved. Next.
Item G is regarding a grant that our emergency services officers received. We've been awarded $21,056.25 by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Division under the Emergency Management Performance Grant Program. The purpose of this grant is to provide training and emergency management planning. This is 100% grant funded and requires no local match. I recommend that you accept the grant award and approve the accompanying budget amendment as presented.